This meeting is being recorded.
Good evening and welcome everybody to this 30-minute meeting we have on Wednesday nights with Dr. Joel Wallach. Legally, we must say this meeting is for educational and entertainment purposes only. What you hear tonight is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure. That being said, it takes great discipline and changes in your mindset and habits to have the protocols work, because we know pigs are cured and dogs heal. So we are here to seek true science-based clinical advice on the use of nutrition to feel better. If you have a desire to make a 90-day change in your lifestyle, you've come to the right place. Not to say that you would stop after 90 days, but that's where you want to get started. Dr. Joel Wallach's research and the development team has created an army while raising his children from a boathouse, a zoo, and on the road. To be respectful, we ask you all to write down your questions in advance, and in about 15 minutes, we can open up the lines for your questions. Now, without further ado, we bring to you Dr. Joel Wallach.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, team. And thank you for being here. I do want to talk about a couple of things today. One of which is life expectancy and maximizing that before we get to macular degeneration. And I want to go back to the biblical days when the people who lived the longest were said to come from places where they had, let's see here, the land was flowing with milk and honey. Okay, the land was flowing with milk and honey. And being a farmer, I tried to find what kind of cows or goats or camels they had in the Garden of Eden and all these other places where all these long-lived people in the Bible came from, and there were none. So what I determined was that the land flowing with milk and honey was really bottomland. It was really land where in valleys, where mountains and glaciers were grinding up rocks upstream, and the actual silt from the glaciers grinding up the rocks every spring made the water look like milk. Okay, it would be white or gray or kind of a creamy yellow. And this was kind of good because you get down into the farmlands when the water would either evaporate or sink into the ground. It left all that silt, and the farmers could plow it in and would renew the minerals into the soil annually that way. And so people who had bottomland was very, very useful. And then, of course, the whole thing about quickly, when we went to electricity, we gave up that land flowing with milk and honey. Okay, and I actually have a book called Hell's Kitchen, which tells about the transition from wood and coal as fuel. We used the wood ashes and coal ashes as fertilizer in the gardens and sweeteners and spices in our food. And we're getting our minerals that way for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And then when we went to electricity and we had hydroelectric and damming up all these rivers and everything, the source of these minerals went away, and people began to get all these diseases and die younger and so forth and so forth. And that's the short version of that. Now let's jump, and this is why you have to supplement with minerals. You have to supplement with minerals. And of course, this is very well documented. Chapter 10 in the book, Rare Earths and Cures, goes into the glacial milk, okay, which is still available today. And you get the Hunzas, whose life expectancy is 120, compared with, let's see here, USA, depending on who you're looking at, they range anywhere from 73 to 75 life expectancy. Australia is 82.9, Japan is 84.7, Canada is 84. China has two areas in the north. They live on wheat, brown around oats. Their life expectancy is 71. In the south of China, they live on rice and sweet potatoes and seaweed. Their life expectancy is 76. So this is something, and I could go on and have a whole big list of different countries and locations and so forth, but you get the drift. So the only way you can guarantee you're going to get all your minerals in optimal amounts is a supplement. You cannot eat well to get your minerals. Plants do not make minerals. Plants make vitamins, amino acids, and fatty acids, but plants do not make minerals. Minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like gold and silver. So the only way you can guarantee you're going to get everything you need mineral-wise is a supplement. Plants do not make minerals. You must supplement. That's why we have the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, and that's why we have our plant-derived colloidal minerals and so forth. And, we have 5,000 products we do with over 600 different diseases. Now, the macula is the inside back of the eye. Okay, the retina is the lining of the inner part of the eyeball. Okay, the retina. And the back part of the eye, where the optic nerve and the optic artery and optic vein go back and forth in, is called the macula. Okay, you get macular degeneration. It's very frequent that people have osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing the optic nerve, squeezing the optic artery and the optic vein. And so the nerve supply, the food supply, and everything like that is being disrupted. And this causes the macula to inflame and swell and stop functioning properly. And of course, it was rich with blood vessels and rich with nerves and so forth, and had lots to do with vision and the health of the eye and so forth. So when you have macular degeneration, the odds are you have some osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing the optic nerve, the optic, which is cranial nerve number 2, the optic artery and optic vein. And again, we do have a book and a CD set. It's called It's All in Your Head. It goes into 37 different diseases that you get when you have osteoporosis of the skull. Okay, squeezing the 12 pairs of cranial nerves in the spinal cord. And so this is one of those things where the book, It's All in Your Head, and the CD that goes along with it will tell you what those are, give you all the symptoms, and gives you a great program to make your body healthy, okay, including your brain and your eyes and the 12 pairs of cranial nerves in your spinal cord. Again, there's 37 different diseases you can get when you have osteoporosis of the skull, one of which is macular degeneration. Okay, so it's not a disease in of itself. It's a symptom of the osteoporosis of the skull, which is squeezing the second cranial nerve, which is the optic nerve, the optic artery, and the optic vein. So I hope that helps out there. And again, I want to read some of the ages, because I went through that pretty fast. And people respond very well when they get on the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. They get on the MSM. They get on the collagen peptides. I like the occutive, okay, for helping the eye do what it's supposed to do to keep itself healthy. I also like the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, 3 of those twice a day. That's 3 words, Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. And they support healthy blood flow through blocked arteries in the brain, the eye, the heart, the kidneys, all over the place. And so again, Ultimate Daily Classic tablets are very important there. And also I like the, let's see here, I like the I-26 for the myelin, the white matter of the brain, okay, which is very important there for all of the cranial nerves, including the optic nerve, okay? And so this is something that when you take, when you take the 90 essential nutrients, take your occutive, take your I-26, okay, which gives you your raw materials to make your myelin, the white matter of the brain, which makes up 25% of your cranial nerves and your spinal cord and 25% of your brain weight. Okay, this is not difficult. Okay, now let's quickly look at back in the old days, okay, biblical patriarchs, okay, before the flood. Adam lived to be 930, Seth lived to be 912, Enos lived to be 910, Michael lived to be 895, Jared lived to be 962. Methuselah lived to be 969. Lamech lived to be 777, and Noah lived to be 950. After the flood, the life expectancy of these people living in these places where they would have access to this water coming out from underneath the glaciers up in the top of the mountains. Again, we're talking about the source of minerals. Okay, was this water that had the ground up rocks in it. Okay, it was not, what should I say? It was something that they knew was associated with the water, but they called it milk because it looked like milk. When you grind up the rocks in those locations, it turned the water white and cloudy. Okay, so that's why they called it the land that flowed with milk and honey. Okay, well, this was glacial milk. Okay, glacial milk. Okay, Shem after the flood, 600. Selah after the flood, 433. Serug after the flood, 230. Nahor after the flood, 148. Terah after the flood, 205. Abram after the flood, 175. Isaac after the flood, 180. And Jacob after the flood, 147. So you can see the life expectancies dropped considerably, okay, compared to before the flood. And that's because they were not getting the minerals anymore, okay, because the source of water had changed and all this and the other because the earth had changed after the flood. So that covers that. Now we do have the book, It's All in Your Head, which we've talked about here, your 12 pairs of cranial nerve and spinal cord. We also have the Wallach Revolution, covers 75 years of track record, getting rid of major diseases. We have two famous people. One, Pat Boone, a great singer and actor, who's, I don't know, 80 years old now. And he had bone-to-bone arthritis. They were going to give him a double knee replacement. And I rebuilt him. And he wrote the foreword for this book, The Wallach Revolution. And then also Danny Glover, he had seizures and he also had epilepsy. And he was going to be institutionalized. He couldn't function anymore. And I rebuilt him and got rid of his seizures and epilepsy. And he wrote the last chapter in the book, The Wallach Revolution. So they're telling their stories. They're telling their stories so people can't say I made it up. Okay? All right. Now, with all that said, I'm going to turn it back over to Dave and Pam, and let's talk to some people.
Dr. Wallach, we do have a request that you talk about macular degeneration.
I did that.
Okay, and anybody else? You have Karen out here. You could talk. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, Dr. Wallach.
Hi, how can we help you?
Yes, I'm curious as to why we need to avoid wheat.
Okay, it's very easy. Have you ever heard of gluten?
Yes.
Okay, gluten destroys your intestinal villi. Your intestinal villi are those little finger-like projections that make your intestinal lining look like a shag rug, increases your surface area and increases the efficiency of absorption. Gluten, which is found in wheat, bran, and oats, and destroys those villi. And so instead of looking like a shag rug after just a couple of months of eating wheat, whether it's bread or bagels or cookies or crackers or cereal, spaghetti, those villi go away. They do not like the gluten. And suddenly now, instead of looking like a shag rug, your intestines look like a plastic tube, and you've lost 98% of your absorptive surface. And people say, well, yeah, I took all your stuff, didn't do me any good. What do you eat for breakfast every morning? Well, I have oatmeal for breakfast. I've been doing that my whole life. Well, there you are. Got to get rid of that. And some people say, no, I don't need any wheat, bran, or oats. I use buckwheat. Well, that's even worse because buckwheat doesn't have any gluten in it, but it does have phagopyrenes, F-A-G-O-pyrenes, which are worse than gluten. And so the septic tank gets the benefit of supplements for people who are using buckwheat, buckwheat pancakes and that kind of stuff. And so you can, I eat spaghetti all the time, but it's rice spaghetti. Okay, I don't eat wheat spaghetti. Okay, I eat pizza 2-3 days a week. But the pizza, what do you call it? The bread, okay, on the pizza, the shell, okay, is made from rice or beets or onions or whatever, no wheat. What do I eat for breakfast every morning? I have rice, poached eggs, and some kind of fruit. And I have all my supplements and this, that, and the other. I might have tomatoes. I do like my, again, I do like the pizza 2-3 meals a week. Okay. And of course, then pizza crust, is made from some vegetable or rice or something like that. No wheat butter, and oats. And so you can buy this. This is very simple. You can buy frozen pizza that has this gluten-free and buckwheat-free crust. So this is not difficult. It's not like you have to go all over the world to find the right stuff. Okay. And so I hope that answers the question.
Yes.
And so people, I was going to say, people who eat gluten and buckwheat, no matter what form it's in, whether it's a pizza crust or spaghetti or cereal or bread or cookies or crackers, you're in trouble, okay? Because this is why people die in their 20s and 30s of heart attacks. Well, he was supplementing with, $300 a month worth of vitamins and minerals. How did he die of a heart attack at age 30? What do you have for breakfast every day? Oh, oatmeal. What do you have for lunch every day? Oh, he had spaghetti. What kind of spaghetti? Well, wheat spaghetti. Oh, well, there you go. What do you have for dinner every night? Well, he had all kinds of wheat bread and toast and that kind of stuff to go along with his fried steaks, okay, or fried chicken or fried fish. And these people are not going to live very long. They're going to be unhealthy, and they'll be on 3 or 4, 5 or 8 or 10 prescription drugs. Okay, but it's very easy. Avoid all the bad stuff. We have a book. It's called Dr. Wallach Cooking Without the Bad Foods. 300 pages of safe recipes, safe cooking methods, and also the good and bad food list. Just doing that can add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach. And what about grits and gravy?
I'm sorry, say what?
What about grits and gravy? We're going to have Blue come up next. What do you say about
gravy? Well, the gravy, you can make gravy with rice flour, right? Along with the juice from your meat. But you can't have, this is why people need to get this book, Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods, because it has all the safe recipes for those things. And what should I say? Everybody should have at least one of those books in the family. If your family's scattered all over 3 or 4 or 5 different states, then you need to get 3 or 5 of those books and make sure that every one of your family clusters, no matter where they're at, needs to have one of those books so that everybody's doing all the right stuff. Because if you eat 3 bad meals a week, you're in trouble by the time you're 30, 40 years old. You may die before that. Okay. You cannot be eating those things and cooking improperly because it will cost you your life.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach. Very good advice. Today we used our Instapot and we put some turkey that was in the freezer in the Instapot with some vegetables, and that's what we had. So, Blue, you're up next. If you're able to unmute the phone, go right ahead.
Yes, thank you. My questions are vertical lines in the fingernails, swollen feet.
Now stop. Wait a minute, stop. Is this all the same person?
Yes.
Okay, so it's edema in the feet. Okay, what else?
Vertical lines and thinning with the fingernails. Vertical lines and thinning of the fingernails.
Okay, and swelling of the feet.
Yes.
No diabetes, no high blood pressure, no arthritis.
No.
Okay, how much do they weigh?
184, 185,
Okay.
6'2", 64 years of age.
Okay. Well, this person needs to get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no barley, rye, oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet drinks got to go, and no carbonated water because they neutralize stomach acid, so you cannot absorb minerals or digest food. Then I want them to have, at 185 pounds, I want them to have 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month, a full dose of everything twice a day. They need to have 2 bottles a month of the MSMs and take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. And then I want them to have 2 of the canisters a month of our, let's see here, of the either the glucogel or the collagen peptides. I like the collagen peptides because it's actually collagen from 4 different species of animals. And scoop of that with the morning drink, scoop of the evening drink. That's the collagen peptides, 2 of those canisters a month. Then I also want them to have the, let's see here, our hair, skin, and nails. Take 3 of those 3 times a day. So it'll take care of the skin, the fingernails, the toenails. And then for the edema and swelling in the legs, this could be due to many things. Could be due to liver problems, kidney problems, heart problems. So let's go with the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, 3 of those twice a day. Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, 3 twice a day. They're going to support and promote healthy blood flow through blocked arteries and support healthy blood pressure. And that will help eliminate this edema. Okay. They have to make sure that they're eating plenty of protein. Okay. And that means, you know, I like eggs for breakfast, soft scrambled eggs, soft boiled eggs, soft poached eggs. They cannot be fried. They cannot be hard boiled. And then also, let's see here. Let's start there. And then, you know, call us every couple of weeks. Let us know how this person's doing. Because usually within 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to have some major improvements here. Maybe all their problems will be gone. So we need to get some feedback. If there's something going on that needs working on, we can do some adjustments. Okay, so that's where you need to go with that one.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, great. All right. Anybody else have any questions there? Go ahead and unmute. If not, I'd like Doc to answer a question in regards to vascular retinopathy. And somebody said something about having SOD, and that could help.
Okay, vascular neuropathy.
Correct. And we do have SOD in a lot of our products, right?
Superoxide dismutase, yes, SOD. Okay, and so again, we have occutive for things going on in the eyes. We have occutive. This is to go along with the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Occutive, okay. I also like, again, the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets for circulation into the brain, because your eyes are part of your brain. And so you have to make sure the brain is functioning, you have plenty of circulation, because the optic artery, the optic vein, and the optic nerve are connected into the brain. So we got to work on that. It doesn't hurt to get the book and the CD set called It's All in Your Head. Okay, this one covers that sort of stuff. Okay. You know, doctors want to do surgery and all that kind of stuff. I always say, give us 90 days, because if you're doing everything right, the odds are your body will heal itself, given the right raw materials. And so It's All in Your Head. There's a book and CD, covers 37 different diseases, including stuff going on with the eyes. Okay. And what else you got?
Doc,
Yes, sir.
Chris asked earlier if you could talk about the difference between wet and dry macular degeneration.
Okay, well, wet is just increased swelling of the fluid in the eyes. Okay, whereas dry is no increased fluid in the eyes. Okay, it's what should I say, when you take the occutive and the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, you take your Healthy Brain and Heart Pack and all that kind of stuff, take your Vision FX, all that stuff goes away. You don't want to keep going to the doctors and they're going to do surgery and do this and the other, and you're still going to have problems because they haven't dealt with the cause. They're dealing with the symptoms when they do surgery and push on drugs and this and the other. So I like to give the body what it needs to repair and maintain itself, including the eyes. The eyes respond very well, but you got to give it the nutrients. And this is a lifetime deal. How many miles do you make sure there's oil in your car? Well, as long as you're driving it, forever. How often do you need the 90 essential nutrients for your eyes? So as long as you're alive. You can't say, well, I fixed it in 3 months and it all went away, and that was a year ago and it all came back now. It didn't work for me. Well, it did work. This is something you have to take forever. Don't treat your car better than you're treating yourself.
Perfect answer. So it's the same formula, whether you have wet or dry or both, one in each eye. You got to do
correct.
The same thing.
That's correct.
For both. And it's a lifetime of these raw materials that the body needs to do what it's supposed to do, heal itself, right?
Right. The good Lord gave us the capacity to be able to prevent diseases and heal ourselves, but we need raw materials to make it happen. And again, when you look back, into the Old Testament and the New Testament, and all these great biblical heroes, they lived in places where they had the land, or cave, what is flowing with
milk and honey.
Milk and honey. But it wasn't cow's milk or goat's milk or camel's milk. It was glacial milk. It was minerals. In this book, Rare Earths and Cures, it's 300 pages of the story. It goes into all these minerals. It goes into places all over the earth where people live a long time, still yet today. They live to be 130, 150, 160, that kind of stuff. And that's because they do live in places that have all these minerals coming from the glacial milk. And so that's why we have the plant-derived minerals. We don't just grind up rocks and give you that. Okay, we have the plant-derived minerals. And of course, our sports drink, Rebound, has 75 minerals in it. Red Bull has 1 mineral, magnesium. And so that's why we came out with the set. It's a 3 CD set. Okay, it's a new bull in town. Okay, to compete with Red Bull. Red Bull only has 1 mineral. Gives you energy from sugar and caffeine. We have 3 CDs in here. The first one is Dead Athletes Don't Lie. The second one is Exercise on Supplementation of Suicide, because you're sweating out all these nutrients. Sweat is not just water. Sweat is not only water and salt, it has all these nutrients that's floating around in your bloodstream. If you're sweating twice a day or 4 times a week, whether it's from labor or from exercise, and all you're doing is drinking water and drinking coffee to rehydrate, you're in trouble, okay? And so everybody needs to get this set. The third CD is What Kills Billionaires, because the billionaires, their life expectancy in America is 66. The average American's life expectancy is, depending on whose numbers you're looking at, is 73 to 75. So the average American lives 9 years longer than a billionaire. Okay, why is that? Well, billionaires listen to people who teach them how to exercise, but they don't tell them to take all these nutrients. Just eat well, you get everything you need. Well, yeah, I'm spending, I go out to a dinner at a big restaurant and I'll spend $200 on a meal for myself. Well, there you go. They think they're getting everything they need because they're spending $200 for a meal. Nope, doesn't work. And the statistics show it. So there's a new bull in town. Everybody needs to have this. The family needs to listen to these 3 CDs. It'll blow your mind, because this has all these famous people in there that have died. And you see every day on the TV news, the radio news, online news, newspaper news, okay? All these young athletes are dying in their teens and 20s and 30s and 40s. And everybody's scratching their head. I mean, they're exercising, they're fit, they're in good shape, they're eating well. Yeah, but they're not taking the 90 essential nutrients. That's why we have the Rebound, okay? And I take Rebound twice a day, a full dose of breakfast, half a dose at lunch, and the second half of the second one throughout the afternoon, so I have plenty of energy. We have the sticks, 30 sticks in a box. We have the canisters, there's 36 servings in the canisters, and we have the cans, there's 12-ounce cans, there's 12 cans in a case. But the cans, you got to pop the tops on them. I pop the tops on 2 of them every night before I go to bed. put them in the refrigerator, take one out in the morning, drink it because all the carbonation is gone. It's been off gassed at night in the freezer, or not the freezer, but the icebox, okay? And that way I don't have to worry about the carbonation disrupting my absorption of nutrients. So you have to pay attention to those things.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach. You woke us up tonight, and we wanted to ask you one more question about narcolepsy. You know, to put us to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if you could close the call with narcolepsy tonight.
Okay, well, narcolepsy is a problem where people just have a problem with sleeping issues. And of course, again, you get rid of all the bad foods, you take your 90 essential nutrients. We have the, let's see here. I like the I-26, which is the white matter of the brain. It helps relax you, makes up 25% of your brain weight and spinal cord weight. And I take 3, I like the chewables. They taste like vanilla ice cream. They're soft chewables, they're not crunchy chewables. We do have the capsules, we do have the powder, the I-26, and that's gonna help you sleep better, okay? Sleep Ease we have, you can take that to say 15 minutes before you're gonna go to bed, Sleep Ease, take that and it'll put you to sleep, okay? And we do, we're kind of behind on the coffee that has, the decaf coffee. I apologize for that. Some of our manufacturers are down, and so we don't have our coffee that's free of caffeine. All right now, and so it's one of those things where but we do have these which I say we do have these nutrients that don't have caffeine in the liquids. Okay.
And Doc, I would like to add, our coffee, our regular coffee is Arabica coffee, so it is less caffeinated and naturally, and it's shade grown, so it's less acidic as well.
Well, not only shade grown, but we put the bloomin' minerals in because we own the plantations we get our coffee from, so we use our bloomin' minerals around all of our coffee plants. So our coffee is got the minerals in it that most coffees don't have.
And coffee is the #2 commodity in the world behind oil, and the #2 beverage in the world behind water. And our coffee is the most heavily pesticided and herbicided plant on the planet because it's so valuable. And we're the only coffee in the world that does not use any pesticides or herbicides, because when you put the minerals in the soil, it don't need, it's not bug food anymore.
The plant can protect itself. Yeah, you're exactly right. The coffee plant can protect itself when you put the minerals in the soil around the plant.
Doc, I haven't drank anybody's coffee since 2012 except Youngevity. I've tried it one time at a meeting, and I spit it back in the cup. It was so nasty. I couldn't believe I used to drink that stuff.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable the difference between our coffee and everyone else's.
Well, that's the difference that the minerals make.
It's incredible.
Okay, well, thank you. I have to run.
Thank you so much, Doc.
Okay, God bless you guys.
Thank you, Doc.
God bless you.
Bye. Okay, Dave, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach, for going into overtime. We appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Have
Love
a
you
good night,
too.
everybody, and a better tomorrow.